Okay, we're going to begin the rebuild of the 7/16 diaphragm pump. We're going to start by installing the U-cup for the diaphragm shaft, and when we do that we want to make sure that the sealing edges or the sealing surfaces of that U-cup are facing outwards of the center section. And we're just going to go ahead and put the new O-ring around the air valve pilot pin. We might go ahead and put a little lithium grease in these areas as well. We don't need to put a lot of grease in there, just want to put enough to help facilitate a smooth transition when we're sliding the shaft through there. And we have our new gasket that we want to install. Then we can install our air side cover, and we'll put our 6 screws in. Okay, once I have the 6 screws installed, I'm just going to come back and we're going to torque those down 35 to 45 inch-pounds. Okay, once that's done, I'm just going to go ahead and flip it over to the other side, and we're going to repeat the procedure. Let's start by installing the U-cup for the diaphragm shaft, and that's once again going to go in with the sealing surfaces of the U-cup facing outwards, and the O-ring for the pilot pin for the air valve. We'll put a little bit of lithium grease on there again. Before the next step, we can go ahead and we can install the manifold for the exhaust. It's pinned in one side to make sure that it gets put back in the right position. We'll set that in place. And we have our gasket. And then we're going to come in with our second air plate. And once everything's in position, we can go ahead and put our 6 screws back in. Okay, we have all 6 screws installed, so we're just going to come back with our torque wrench and we're going to secure these once again 35 to 45 inch-pounds. Now that we have the center section built up, it's time to go ahead and reinstall the diaphragms. We've got the one diaphragm and we've got it put back into position where we've got the front plate and the bolt, the diaphragm, the backer diaphragm, and then the air plate. We want to make sure when we put the air plate on that the air side of the air plate is facing the air side of the diaphragm pump. And we're just going to take a little bit of a medium strength thread sealer and we'll attach the diaphragm shaft, and we're just going to go ahead and tighten that down for now. We'll come back and we'll torque it to the proper spec. Once that's done, we're just going to come and put a little bit of lithium grease once again on the diaphragm shaft, and we'll push it through the center section, and then we'll bring in our other diaphragm and attach that to the diaphragm shaft. Air side out, medium strength thread sealer, and then we're going to check the torque spec on the diaphragms because I don't remember off the top of my head what they are. And we're going to want to torque the diaphragms on the 7/16 to 90 inch-pounds. So we're going to go ahead and reinstall the fluid covers, and in the beginning I mentioned that you wanted to kind of make reference of the position of the clamps and the ground strap. So you're going to have the air valve at the top side, and we're going to go ahead and put our clamp on the inside of the center section just to keep it in place. And we'll come in with our first fluid cover. We're just going to attach it, and we will get the clamp moved over. And you don't have to get everything in the correct position right away. You just want to get everything kind of lined up and close. And we have our ground strap, and we're just going to go ahead and secure it with the nut just to hold it in place. No need to secure or tighten it down at this time. And we'll repeat the procedure for the other side. We're going to bring our clamp in, put it on the inside of the housing, come in with our cover, make sure it's in the right format. In other words, that the top is the same as the top as this side. We'll bring our clamp in. Once that's lined up, then we're going to bring in the ground strap once again, put everything in position. We're just going to secure everything so it can't fall apart. The reason I've done this is because I want to make sure that the outlet is completely lined up and it's not off center like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that loose and get it a little bit tighter so it doesn't move around too much. And we're going to come back and torque that, but I want to go ahead and put the manifolds in position so everything remains lined up. And just like we took it apart, I'm going to start with the inlet manifold, keeping in mind that everything is upside down right now. So we're going to start with the 2 O-rings. The top of the ball cage with the beveled edges going towards the O-ring. The 2 check balls. The cages with the seats machined in them. You might have to move the ball over just a little bit to get the cage to fall down in, and we'll come in with our final 2 O-rings. Then we're going to go ahead and put our inlet manifold in position. Now this one has a center feed. You can also remove the plug from the end, plug the center, and then have an end feed. It's dependent on the application. And the 4 nuts that we removed so we didn't lose them, I'm going to go ahead and put those back into the housing castings. And then we're going to come with the bolts that are attached to our feet and drop those into position. And we'll get all of these started. Okay, right now I'm just securing these, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to torque them down to the right spec. And I'm going to do this right away because at this point, everything is lined up now that the inlet manifold is on. There's 2 places you can go to get the proper spec for these next procedures. One is going to be, you can reference your manual. The other is going to be on the outlet manifold, we have a hang tag. And the hang tag is going to tell you exactly what the torque spec is and what the position of torquing it down is going to be. Okay? So we're going to start with the bottom view here. We're going to start in one corner and work our way around. It's going to be 80 to 90 inch-pounds. So now that I know everything's in position, I can go ahead and tighten these down and we'll torque those to the right spec. And again, you can refer to your hang tag or back to the manual. These are going to be tightened again down to 80 to 90 inch-pounds. Okay, so now that I have the clamps at the right torque spec, we can go ahead and finish up by putting in the outlet manifold. Now the pump is in the right position, so we can put our 2 O-rings in. This time we'll lead with our ball cages and seats. We'll install our check balls. The tops of the cages with the beveled side up this time, the O-rings, and then our outlet manifold. And once again, the outlet manifold is made with the center port open, but you can remove this plug, move it to the center, and then have an end port if desired for the application. And we'll go ahead and put our 4 nuts back into the casting and finish off with the last remaining 4 bolts. And we'll tighten, secure, and torque these, once again, 80 to 90 inch-pounds. Okay, that's going to complete the teardown and rebuild of the Husky 716 diaphragm pump.